did it.
Oh. Welcome to another Manifest the RPG Twitch stream. I'm here again. I'm Tommy Cotton, and I'm here again with Dan Barron, Addy Gia, Seth Lilly, playing Roland, Pax, and Kinsey, respectively. This is episode 6 of the Manifest actual play, where we play through this game that everyone's waiting to come out. Successfully kickstarted. If you don't know what it is, go check it out. You can pre-order it. Addie, before we jump into any of the actual play, do we have any announcements we need to take care of?
No. Yes.
Well, one I can think of is that this episode should, if everything goes according to plan, this episode should put us into affiliate status with Twitch, which we've talked about a couple times in the previous streams, because we've been moving towards it with our other shows and this show, and that will allow people to subscribe to this channel, which will like make it so we can have cool like subscriber only like chat emojis, and we can upgrade like our streaming equipment. It's gonna be good. I think that's the only announcement we have right now. Except for the fact that I do promise I'm still working on getting those previous episodes up to YouTube. So if you missed any of the previous episodes, we had a rendering issue. I've solved that. It just takes a long time now. So we're getting all of them rendered and uploaded to YouTube. They're going to be going live soon. The only heartbreak in that announcement is that episode 3 has been lost to time and space. We're probably going to do like upload some a recap of episode 3, so that anyone who missed it can kind of like catch up on what's going on in a more condensed, like quick version. So sorry about that. Twitch only holds videos for a little bit, and we thought we downloaded it, but we can't find it anywhere. With all of those announcements out of the way, and hopefully whatever advertisements Twitch put up out of the way, people have finally tuned in and ready to watch some actual play of Manifest the RPG. So, quick recap of what's happened so far. Kinsey, Pax, and Roland have found themselves working for a violent, murderous gang known as the Dead Man's Gang. They don't want to be working for the Dead Man's Gang, but they feel like, probably appropriately, that the only other option is to be hunted down and murdered by the Dead Man's Gang. So, they are currently working and looking for angles to try and get out from underneath this gang. In doing so, they've traveled with one member of the gang to a town called Moorbank, where during the journey, the member of the gang, Miguel Reyes, was horrifically injured by some of Manifest's more violent plant life. And as such, these three have had to kind of work the deal that Miguel was supposed to work with. One, Salvador Alston, a large man who seems to have a line on some kind of big guns that the leader of the Dead Man's Gang, Rufus Nash, is trying to get his hands on for nefarious means. They managed to win Salvador over enough for him to trust them, and he got them all tickets on the MF Merriweather, which is a riverboat heading south to a town called Wilburton, where Miguel is convalescing with a doctor named Chester Lowry, and Pax is currently disguised as a woman named Rachel because she's afraid of Marshall that is on the riverboat, named Donna Kane. And when we last left, the three of you, not Rachel, was kind of looming, not looming, but like staying off to the side, kind of blending in with the crowd. Yeah, lurking a little bit. While Roland and Kinsey seemed to have befriended a man of importance on this riverboat, a man by the name of Francis Calderon, who has invited them to the bar for a drink. And when they got to the bar, they noticed there was a sign on a nearby exit that said, "Thank you, like we hope you enjoyed your time in the Calderon poker room." This guy is obviously very good at poker and extremely wealthy, and is somewhat a VIP of some kind here. Roland and Kinsey, the two of you sit down. Francis, lighting up a fresh cigar, turns to the two of you and reaches out with a couple extra cigars, and he goes, "Would you like a smoke?"
Sure. I'm not going to be rude and refuse a good cigar.
Yeah,
Not
right.
usually my conveyance of choice, but I enjoy a good quality cigar a time or two.
All right. And top shelf whiskey for me and my new friends here, he says to the bartender, who nods and serves 3 clean whiskeys, slides them over to you, and then goes to attend to another patron. The poker hall, it's like middle of the day, a little bit later, like afternoon maybe at this point. The poker hall, like, has pretty decent business. It's not like the bar is like packed, and it's not super rambunctious either. A couple other people here. You guys are able to identify the marshal that Pax is afraid of, down at the end of the bar. She's nursing a drink right now. And Francis sits with his back to the bar, stretching out comfortably against it, and takes a nice, long, like satisfying puff out of his cigar. And he goes, "So, what brings a fine poker player like yourself and his friend to to my riverboat?"
Well, we're sort of on business, but like sometimes you get the chance to have a little bit of a vacation while you're on a business trip.
I understand completely. Business and pleasure, they're one and the same for me. I thought you might be a bit of a businessman and negotiator, if it will. Your talents at the poker table seem to imply as much. What business are you in, Roland? I can call it. Yes.
Yeah, that Roland, Hollis, either works.
And you may refer to me as Francis. I believe we're all friends here.
I'm so glad to hear that, Francis. I can't. You understand, as a businessman yourself, I can't really discuss the specifics of my business. But I, generally speaking, work in insurance.
He nods at that and goes, "Mm-hmm. And you, Kinsey, you in the insurance business as well?"
Well, as Mr. Hollis says, I can't go into detail, but yes, I am in a similar position as perhaps somebody who could ensure that something bad does not happen to Mr. Hollis.
I see. I'm beginning to recognize the dynamic. um, while they're chatting with Francis, Pax, what are you up to? I'm sorry, not Rachel. What are you up to?
I am, now that it seems like they're not just going to be potentially like weirdly murdered or anything, I because that's always on my mind. I think I will take a turn about the room, see what's going on.
Okay, go and roll an observe test for me.
Yeah, I do that. Maybe. Oh, I'm so bad at observe. How Why am I so bad at observe? Not the custodian. All right. That is 1 hit. It's a 6.
Okay. So you take a turn about the room. You don't spot anyone who seems particularly interesting. You don't spot anyone who's eyeing Francis, Pax, or Kinsey with any sort of interest. You do one thing you are able to notice with just the one success is that the guards do seem to keep an eye on Francis, but that's not necessarily new. You may have also noticed around the time that Roland observed someone getting like angry with Francis, that all the guards immediately started to react and move their way towards that person. But one thing you do notice as you're making your way around is you notice one of the doors opens up and Salvador Alston walks in. Just briefly, he's no longer like the past 2 times you saw him, it was like really early in the morning or really late at night / early in the morning, and he he was just wearing like an undershirt and like overalls, or not overalls, suspenders. Now he's dressed much more nicely. He still looks like large and intimidating. The suit, it looks just slightly small on him, but not completely like super tight or weird. But he's got like a nice suit with like nice fabric. He still is wearing that flat cap though. And as he walks in, you see his eyes dart over to Pax or Roland and Kinsey, talking with Francis just ever so slightly. You can't really get a read on like anything else except for the fact that he notices them. He doesn't seem to notice you. And he makes his way over to a craps table, cashing in a couple chips. I think you're muted.
Is what you missed. Is there a table that I can have like him in my peripheral vision without it being suspicious?
So there's actually no tables. The bar is a long enough bar that there's stools along the bar.
I meant like a poker table or like a gambling table.
Yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, there's plenty of tables nearby. It's not like the largest poker room. I mean, it's pretty big, but it's not. It's kind of like spacious so that people can walk around. There's not like the tables aren't crammed in together to try and maximize the amount of people that can play at a time. But also because of that, because it's easier to move around and it's not super crammed with people, you can have line of sight to him pretty easily wherever you sit.
Great. What am I sitting at?
You have a choice between mahjong and poker.
I guess. Gosh, I don't think I know how to play those.
Yeah, so one or the other doesn't really matter.
Yeah, somebody's gonna get mad at me. It might as well be poker, I guess. Yeah, I'm gonna play some really bad poker and bet conservatively and fold a whole lot.
Okay.
It'll be great.
So let me just see if you luck out. Okay, so over the course of sitting at poker under the pretense of being a poker player, you are going to lose a total of 2 spurs.
Okay.
But you're able to kind of post up and watch Salvador. Francis does go silent for a little bit, not like as if he's being like contemplative or anything like that. He's just watching the room, sipping on his drink, smoking. Do either of you strike up any particular subject of conversation, or do you wait for him to continue talking?
No, I think Kinsey speaks up. I'm pretty.
That's what I was waiting for.
couldn't help but notice it's, I believe, your name on the wall over there on the plaque. Is that correct?
Yes, I do think it's a bit much, but well, I mean, it is a nice sign.
Quite a nice sign, quite a nice room as well, if I may say.
Well, thank you.
The-
And hopefully your lodgings are to your satisfaction as well. I'm not exaggerating when I say this is my boat.
well, yes, it's
Always my, but the previous owner weren't too good at cards. I'll tell you what.
yes. Well, he certainly couldn't match you if your last game is anything to judge from.
Ain't much that can, he says, looking. Ain't many that can, he says, looking over at Roland. He goes, "It is a rare occurrence that someone manages to pull one over on me."
I suspect never twice, though.
Well, not that many folk get the chance to try multiple times. A lot of times they take their money and run. But yeah, I suppose. Where are you two getting off at?
We're bound for Wilburton.
He looks a little surprised. He goes, "That tiny little podunk town? A man of your skill? What, you got an insurance contract to deal with there?"
What can I say? I'm a bit of a career underachiever. It's sort of what allows me to live the lifestyle I enjoy without that boss man watching over my shoulder too much.
Hmm. Go ahead and roll manipulate for me real quick.
Yeah, it's not a very good roll.
Well, he didn't do as good as he could have. He got a 9.
I have one net hit with an 11.
Okay. So he kind of like looks at you a little bit, tilts his head slightly, and he goes, "I don't know. For someone who's looking for a line of work that is more relaxing, you seem just a little bit on edge, Roland. You too,
Oh.
Kitsy. No offense to either of you, of course. I'm sure the insurance business is very cutthroat."
Well, it has its ups and downs.
Yes, we try to not cut as many throats as possible. It's not our end goal, I suppose, only if necessary.
Well, I think you two are mighty fine company, and I would buy you drinks for the rest of the night if you regale me with tales of the inland. I've been on this boat for a few months now. I wander here and there, but the money's just so good, and the rent is free.
I must say that does sound lovely. I didn't really have any plans for the rest of this evening. I would love to share a drink with you. I can tell you anything you'd like to know about what's going on terra firma.
Where Mr. Hollis goes, you can find me quite near.
Well, all right then. Another round for me and my friends, and leave the bottle. And the bartender pours 3 of the finest whiskeys, or 3 glasses of the finest whiskey, sets the bottle down, and then Francis hands him 5 spurs, and thank you, Mr. Calderon, and goes off to pour another drink for Donna Kane, who slams it and goes, "Another." Francis just chats with you. How shaky is your story? Do you talk just a lot about like Alanistead? What kind of tales do you regale Francis with? The both of you, because he'll drink late into the night, like to the point where like the poker room would be closed, but it stays open as long as he wants it to.
I think I will. Sort of the best lies have a grain of truth to them. So I'm just gonna tell a lot of stories, about things I've actually done, but just sort of nip away at some of the details and, add insurance bits here and there.
All right. What about you, Kinsey?
I think Kinsey is going to tell him pretty much everything that's happened, basically from where the Twitch stream has started. But from, like right after the prison train, he's going to the prison wagon train, I suppose. Is going to tell him all of the more interesting bits that we've gotten into, without reference to their criminal origins.
What are you referring to? Because so many of them are so entrenched in the criminal origins.
That's fair. Specifically, the skunk ape attack.
Sure.
The following jumpin' yucky. Wouldn't call it an attack, but I suppose I could. What happened with the jumpin' yucky? Trying to hire a wagon train being set upon by a gang without, also mentioning that we are a part of said gang. That sort of thing.
Okay. So I'll let you guys teamwork test a manipulation. And both of you can have a +2 because you're trying to throw in as much truth as you can and just change small details.
Sure. Okay, all right.
I suppose it could also be a blend. There's enough truth in there that it could be blend if you're better at blend.
Blend is worse, yes.
I'm not surprised to find that Kinsey is not capable of blending in.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, let's try that again. Yes. That was 217, so absolutely not.
Okay. So
great.
Still that +2 though, regardless. And you're up against an 11.
I eke by with a 12.
So you have one success.
Yes.
All right. So you're getting the impression that Francis can tell you're being coy at a lot of the times that you're changing details, but he doesn't seem to push too hard on it. But like Roland, you're able to like notice him. It's like every time he's like, of course, because the insurance, right?
Right. Well, we wouldn't want to pay out a claim when it's so clear that the client was negligent.
Of course. I mean, that's just good practices. You are both very good at your jobs. So while this is going on, this is going to go this like continuous story. During that conversation, Francis does chat with you a little bit. You get the notion that he is a drifter who's done as close to settled roots as a drifter does with this riverboat. He is an avid gambler. You get the feeling like his moral compass is a little dubious. But it seems like mostly he just likes the like he's a little bit of a thrill seeker. Is kind of the impression you get from him. He's not when I say dubious, I do mean like just like a little inscrutable, not that he, is like further down the gray into like the morally like decrepit areas.
Right. No, he's a bit of a scoundrel who won a fantastic ship in a game of cards.
Yes, exactly. So far, no 8-foot-tall hairy companion to go along with him, but
he'd probably save us at the last minute.
Donna Kane's right there, so.
Do I get the sense he would save us at the last minute if we, did one daring attack on the Dead Man's Gang?
All right. So he's not exactly Han Solo. I'm just gonna give. Okay. So, yeah, that's kind of the impression you get from him. But he's now settled in a little bit. He just goes up and down this river, which takes a little while. And then every once in a while, like, goes into a factory town if he has to, or goes to like nearby settlements, just to like stretch his legs and get off the ship every once in a while. But he likes it here. He's made some changes, and it is very comfortable for him. So this keeps going. The two of you sitting with Francis, drinking late into the night. Pax Salvador at a certain point. It seems like Salvador is kind of like watching these two talking with Francis, and when they don't split off, he gets like a little frustrated. It looks like, and cashes out his chips, and then like goes back to his room. What do you do, Pax?
Once Salvador's left, I think I will eventually leave. There's probably, I feel like, not many people in this room once it gets to a decently late hour.
Yeah, it does seem to die down. It becomes more of just like a quiet bar with maybe a couple people playing very, very like casual, like poker. Like the roulette tables and the crap tables, like they kind of like die out when it gets later, and it's just blackjack and poker for a few people who are like, night owls.
Sure. So I'll take like a couple laps around the boat just to see. Maybe I'll walk by the marshal's room and just give it a jiggle, see if it opens.
Sure. You know what? I don't think she locked it.
Oh no.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think she does. So on your deck, basically, like your hall of rooms, like your little landing where your rooms are, there's you do notice there's like a security guard in that area, and then there's your room, a room across from your room, and then down a little ways there's Donna Kane's room, the marshal's room, and then another room across from her, and then there's like a little like cross hallway that leads to like other like sections of the boat, and like stairwells that lead to other landings and stuff. And then further down at the end of the hall, there's two larger rooms, one of which is Salvador's. And another one you do glimpse, there's like a woman in her like late 40s, kind of neatly dressed. You see her like entering that room like after presumably leaving the dinner cards, like as like dinner is like kind of tying up. She retires to that room, but you're able to kind of like at a point when the security guard isn't like they're not like just standing there and they're not actively patrolling. He just like kind of like seems in charge of this hall and then like maybe another hall. So there's a point where you like there's no one in the room and you're just like, let me just try her handle, and yeah, it opens. She didn't lock it.
Cool. I go inside.
Okay.
Shit.
So you enter into Marshall Kane's room. It is about the same size as yours, though it seems she's the only one here, so it's at least a little bit more comfortable. It's got 4 bunks in it. The desk is currently pulled down and seems like it's stuck pulled down. Not like stuck pulled down, but it was left pulled down, I should say. She's got a pack on one of the beds with like 2 packs, like a smaller pack and then like a larger duffel pack. On 2 beds, you see like clothes are kind of like hanging out of it, as well as like some materials. There's also like a rifle on the bed there, and yeah, there's like paper and like a pen, as if like if she was like writing a letter or something earlier.
Are there any like notices or bounties or warrants I can see like on the desk or like in a place where I don't have to move a bunch of stuff? I don't want to go like all out, just sort of like poke around and see if there's anything interesting. And then if it's like a pad of paper,
it is.
Maybe I'll
like
just take that.
Provided by the riverboat.
Sure, I'm gonna take that one piece of paper off the top.
Okay. Well, so there's it's a blank piece of paper, right? So you pull off that blank piece of paper. If you want to find anything besides what I've described, it will require you to rummage at least a little bit. And so if that's the case, you are going to have to roll an observe test. If you want to do it without really digging and truly rummaging, you can do an observe test at a -3 to just like, inch open a couple drawers, maybe like lift up some of the bags without like digging your hand in and feeling everything that's in there.
I got 1 hit.
Okay. So you look around a little bit, and you do notice, like, you look in one of her packs, and she does have like a letter that seems to have been addressed to her. And you're able to kind of like slide it up, and like look at the envelope, and it looks like it was addressed to an address in I just want to make sure I get it right. Freedom City. So it would seem that Donna Kane is a marshal of Freedom City. And you know that you are in Alanastead territory right now, which marshals do. They are able to, if they have like the backing of like their office, if they're like on duty, they can like enact justice. They can cross borders into other territories to hunt down people who committed crimes in their territory. But at least you know that you and definitely Roland, as far as you know, never committed crimes in Freedom City territory. So it's unlikely that she's hunting you specifically, if she's here hunting at all.
Cool. That's pretty good. And there weren't any like just like general bounty notices or anything like that?
No, you didn't see anything like that.
Okay. Cool. Cool. So I'm gonna take that piece of paper
Okay.
with me, and I'm gonna not fold it if I can help it.
Yeah, that's fine.
And and leave the room.
Okay. So one thing that happened when Salvador left, Roland and Kinsey, he didn't leave like super late in the night. He left like relatively early-ish into the night. Sometime after dinner, but that, not like super late. He when he walked out the room, walked out the door right nearby you guys. That says, thank you for spending time in the Calderon poker room. And he like he just gives you guys the slightest glance of like, and you can see, it's hard to tell if it's like he's just got like an angry resting face or if he's like frustrated with you.
I don't think the two are mutually exclusive.
Yeah. But anyways, he gives you like a scowling look as he walks out. And you see that Francis seemed to like notice that. He looks at the two of you and he goes, now that man there, that man is, well, he's an interesting character.
Oh? Do tell.
Well, now I don't presume to know everything that happens on this boat. I often spend most of my time in this here room. But that man there is, goes by the name of Alston. And as far as I know, that man has ties, family ties, if you catch my meaning.
With the Alston family, or?
No. I mean, the Alston family, well, I suppose, Kinsey, are you well versed in the happenings of criminal enterprises?
I wouldn't say well versed. I think he does know what the family is.
Sure. But that was Francis asking you before he continued.
Oh, sorry. Right. Well versed. No, I wouldn't say well versed. I know what I need to know for my job.
Well, the Lorenzo family used to run Freedom City a long time ago, and the Alstons answered to them, but not not too long ago, I suppose, the Renzo family, they made a few too many enemies, if you catch my meaning there.
That meaning I
And
do get, yes.
they scattered. The few that didn't get scooped up by the rival scattered to latch on to other more stable families. The Alstons, they work for a family, if I'm not mistaken, the Kowalski family in Glenspire. Now, like I said, I don't presume to know everything that happens in the garden. I don't presume to know the intentions of a man like that. But Ruslan Kowalski is a friend of his, and as far as I know, the two of them do business. And well, I don't know if you two fine gentlemen brushed up against him the wrong way in the dining deck, or if you just don't like the way you look, but he did not seem pleased to see the two of you talking to the likes of me. You wouldn't happen to be involved in your insurance business, would he?
You know, I do recall taking the last kipper at the buffet, and I didn't think anything of it, but there was a bit of a commotion as I left to join my compatriot here. I bet that's it.
Yeah, that's going to require a manipulate roll. Okay. Well, right now you're up against an 8.
Okay. I've got 2 net hits over an 8, with a high of 13.
Okay. Did you want to spend any grit?
No, I'm pleased with my current balance of 1 grit.
Okay. Well, take another one.
Hey.
Doubled my grit.
I am going to play to the gallery so I can count both of these 14s.
Oh, great.
That's fine.
And you said you had a 9?
I have an 11 and a 13.
Okay. So Francis takes a big puff of his cigar, looks at you, and goes, Roland, you wound me. A man of your caliber can surely tell a lie better than that. I don't mean to pry, gentlemen. If you are content with your current predicament, well then, all the more power to you. Unfortunately for me, I do have to do business with the like of Alston from time to time, but you know, it seemed like the two of you had something eating away at you, and I just had to figure out what it was. If it's not Alston, then, you know, I don't mean to muddy the waters of your business or poke my nose where it don't belong. I haven't gotten this far making enemies.
Kinsey's going to set down his drink onto the table and set his palm flat and say, yes, I believe we are content with our current predicament, as you say. And I'm going to try and intimidate him away from this particular conversation, as though we are pleased to talk about anything else, just not this one thing.
All right, yeah. Go ahead and roll up and intimidate. I'll tell you what, he's not as good at resisting that one. My good man, you are up against a 4.
I'm going to spend some grit to play to the gallery. And that is 3 net hits over a 4.
Okay. You kind of like get serious with him for a second, slamming your table down, and that like slam actually jolts him from his like easy demeanor for a second before he like eases back into it as you're talking to him, and then you finish saying your piece, and he goes, "All right, I did not mean to offend Mr. McCharlotte, not in the slightest. Um, please, my sincerest apologies. Like I said, I just like a good conversation, like a good story, but I do occasionally have the habit of pushing my luck just a bit too far and putting my nose where it doesn't belong. And well, like I said, I'm not here to make any enemies."
Kinsey will grab his drink and lean back and smile, and the light will glint off of his silver tooth. And he'll say, "Apology accepted. We do appreciate your hospitality."
I will continue to appear pleasant and unperturbed while attempting to communicate solely with my eyes to Kinsey. In what scenario are we content with our predicament?
Here, roll a blend for me, Roland. We'll see if I think you have the chops to be able to at least give some of that message along to Kinsey. It's a matter of Francis noticing it.
Sure.
You're up against an 8.
Yeah, no, I don't have any hits above an 8 because I am so shocked that Kinsey would adamantly argue to keep us in the current predicament we are in, and more so, do it so effectively. I'm beginning to question if Kinsey's even on our side.
What was your highest?
It is a 6.
Okay. So Francis does only get one net success over you. So Francis turns to you, sees you looking a little shocked, and Francis makes like a playful little like like I angered Dad type look, and he goes, "If there isn't anything that if there's one thing I know that eases treacherous waters, it's more whiskey. Please drink up." At this point, it's getting pretty late into the night. Kinsey, you successfully. Francis does not like poke his nose anymore. He talks a little bit more about himself to kind of fill the air a little bit. He seems a little less curious and stops like trying to like pull information from you guys. You do get the sense as he's kind of like filling the air a little bit. Every once in a while, he touches, like, you get just like little hints, like almost as if he's needling you by thinking like maybe this will like annoy you a little bit, and he wants to see if it does. He drops hints here and there about how his feelings for the family are like lukewarm at best, and that like it's like kind of like necessary bedfellows is what he sees the family as, and he doesn't really respect them a whole lot. And so like you get the like maybe he thinks you might be like a family like crony of some kind, and so he's like trying to like needle you and see if that pisses you off, so he can kind of get more information that way. But he doesn't do it a lot. Just every once in a while you catch it. So Pax, after you've stolen that piece of paper from Marshall Kane's room, what else do you do? What's your late night plans?
I would like to go back to our room. Is Miguel in there?
Miguel is not in your room. He's in a different room.
Okay.
He's in one of the rooms across from you.
Gotcha. And like do a rubbing on the piece of paper that I stole.
Sure. Yeah, you're able to do that. It has little indents from where she wrote. It seems like it was a note to herself. That says, "Lost keys. Sorry, Nice lady, Rachel? Question mark. Is that the name you gave her? Did you give her?
No, I gave her the name Patience. I gave her
Patience,
my
okay.
actual.
Nice lady, Patience? Question mark.
That's great. I don't know if that's the name or if that's like what she should do. Okay.
It's got a colon next to it. It's like nice lady, colon, Patience.
Sure. I don't think I have any actual extra plans. I guess I'll go get a drink of whiskey, but I'm not going to drink it. I'm going to bring it to Miguel after I get out of this disguise. Become Pax again.
So are you becoming Pax, going up and getting a whiskey and bringing it down to Miguel, or are you going up getting a whiskey,
Yeah.
changing into Pax, and then bringing that whiskey to Miguel?
Yeah.
Okay, so briefly in the night, Roland and Kinsey, you see not Rachel, show up briefly, order a whiskey, and go back downstairs. When you go up there, Pax, you do notice the only people at the bar are Francis, Roland, Kinsey, and Donna Kane. She's just sitting there drinking. She's like listening to Francis a little bit, like chuckling to herself, and then drinking a little bit more. She's starting to look about as sloppy as she was when you first met her. Not quite as sloppy, but she's getting there. And you get a drink, and you go downstairs. You're able to take off your disguise, the prosthetic nose, everything, the wig, and look. Now you look like Pax, and you're able to cross over into Miguel's room. Do you just open it up, knock? What's the?
I'll do the knock, but if it's unlocked, I'm just gonna knock and then immediately go in. I'm not gonna wait for him to say
Mom knock.
Yeah, the mom knock.
Yeah. So at this point, it is it's past midnight. It's late night. You knock on the door. There's there's a slight rustling, and you hear, "Yeah, come on in."
Okay. Hi.
Well, honestly, I thought you were gonna be the doc. Before you say anything, is that for me?
Yeah.
Thank you kindly. He takes the whiskey, shoots it, hands you back the glass. He goes, "If the doc shows up, you drink that yourself."
I don't know what you're talking about.
He taps his nose. And kind of shifts in his bed a little uncomfortably, So, what can I do you for, Pax? Please don't tell me something's burning.
Nope. Just figured the doc wouldn't let you have whiskey.
You figured correctly. Look, he's a mousy fella, little imposing, but he knows his craft. Changed out my bandages nice. He's wants me to be a little more cautious than I think is necessary, but he does good work. He's just a real pain in the ass.
I believe it.
I don't know where Salvador dug him up.
I don't much care. Listen. There isn't a reason we're stuck on here. There isn't a reason for you to push yourself for anything. So rather have you at closer to 100 than 50 when we get off this boat.
Well, we have but another day of travel, and I think by then I'll be right as rain. Sure. Bed rest. Bring me another whiskey tomorrow. Yeah, I'll sneak it by the dock, and I should be at about 100 by the time we get to Wilburton.
Good.
Is that That all you came in for? Tell me to stay in bed and give me a whiskey?
Kinda.
All right, then.
There's no ulterior motive. I'm pretty sure that at some point, one of y'all is going to end up shooting at us. And I'd really like it if that first bullet missed.
Go ahead and we'll do a manipulate on this. And you can have a +2 because you just gave him whiskey.
Okay.
You're up against 6.
No, I can't beat that. I have a 5.
Okay. What's up?
Oh, nothing. I'm not actually trying to manipulate him. I'm just telling him that, it wouldn't suck if we weren't enemies.
It's yeah, that's right. That's an appeal of some kind, right? Because manipulate is a catch-all. Manipulate can be, negotiation. It can be lying. It can be like anything where you're trying to use words to make someone feel differently about a situation, right?
Yeah.
He eyes you a little bit and goes, Pax, I'm not sure anyone in the gang can make that promise.
Well, guess that's a shame. I would do that for you if you asked. I'll walk out.
You hear like a slight chuckle as you walk out.
I'm gonna kill him.
As you move to walk out, Pax, you open up the door, step out into the hallway, and as you're like shutting the door, you hear a scream down the hall. And you turn and you see that woman in her late 40s and another man, like an older man in his like early 50s ish, maybe late 40s. He's in like a uniform. He's got like a trash. He's got like a cart behind him with like a trash and like cleaning supplies and other things. And then there's this woman who is standing there. She lets out a shout. He turns around and goes, Miss, no, calm down, miss, calm down. And she lets out another shriek. And then a security guard, the same security guard you'd seen before, runs around. He like is unslinging his rifle and moving up to it. Those of you in the poker hall, you also hear this scream. It's about like 1 or 2 in the morning or something like that.
Yeah, I
Keynote, I suppose, that is extremely important to you, Pax, for what you observe. They're standing outside Salvador's room with the door open.
Oh, good.
I will. I'll open the door back up and I'll be like, "Don't go anywhere." And
Miguel's like, "What the hell's happening?" As you shut the door.
And then I shut the door and I'll like jog down the hallway.
Towards Sal's room.
Towards specifically the woman to like, calm her down or whatever, so I can get a vantage point without being like, "Ooh, what's that?"
Okay. So you start jogging towards that. In the poker hall, Francis, he looks like weirdly like he's got like a whiskey in one hand, a cigar in the other. There's a scream, and he like looks at his back and he goes. He just like is like he doesn't seem to know what to do with that information that he's processing. Donna Kane, however, who's been sitting like this, like head like resting against like the back of her palm, like holding like almost finished whiskey. Her head snaps up and like you see this like wash of like adrenaline based soberness like take hold. She sets the drink down, pulls back her jacket, revealing like her gun, and starts like moving towards the sound of the scream.
I think my reaction is a quick jolt, and then sort of mirroring Francis's of just is that, I don't know, it's your boat. Is that
No, I don't know. Fellas, should someone maybe check on that?
It seems like someone should deal with that, I'll say, to no one in particular.
A couple security guards are like, yeah, okay, yeah. And they, like, and they go following after Donna Kane, who's like, what, long gone?
Kinsey's just going to stand and kind of like stare after them as they go into the hallway, and then I'll turn to Roland and I suppose give him a meaningful glance, like, well,
go, go look. That's your job is, if bad things are happening near me, is to figure them out and make them go away. Go.
I'll be here. I'll just be at the door. But and he'll go by the door, obviously.
Okay.
Well, I will say that the door into the poker room, it's on a completely different deck than where the scream is coming from.
I'm not trying to look out. I'm just going to hold, because I'm not going to leave him, you know?
Sure. So Pax, you get to the woman. She's like pulled out like a handkerchief and like has it over her face and like has turned her head. And you're able to get to her and look in, and there's the man, the like 40 or 50-year-old man is has his hands up. He's standing in front, like he's like reaching back towards the door, but then like the security guard gets there and he's looking in, so he can't like shut the door. And you see Salvador Alston sprawled out on his bed with his throat slit.
Oh, good.
Okay. Wait, that's so bad for us. Why would you say that's good? Anyway, no table talk. Continuing. And I'll go, oh my gosh. And then I'll turn to the woman and I'll be like, are you, it's okay. Do you need, is this your room?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
it's just,
you.
Yeah, of course. Here, let me just, sit tight. Let me check, make sure nobody's in there. And then you sit tight. And then, yeah. Okay.
You open the door and she's like, I don't even know. Thank you, young miss. I'm so sorry. Emmeline Yang. She says. She doesn't really extend a hand to like do introductions. She just lets you know her name and like sits down and like seems flustered.
Sure. I'm gonna. Is there anything out that's shiny?
Like in her room?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very nice room. It's a very nice room. She's got a lot of fancy things around.
Is there like any like earrings next to the bedside table or like?
Yeah, there's a very nice brooch.
Neat. Yeah, I'm gonna.
Geminate.
A what? A gem in it?
A gem of some kind.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll do turn down service a little bit, like do the bed and move, set her stuff down, and then I'll be like, I'll get you a glass of water, and
I've never seen anything like that in my life.
I will never forget it. But you need to Emmeline, just here, and I'll like pet her head or whatever, and then and then I'm gonna take the brooch, and then also like take care of her, and then I'll go back out into the hallway.
Sure, go ahead and roll a skullduggery to steal this woman's brooch.
Yeah. Hopefully the shock will keep her from whatever.
And you are up against an 8.
No, that's not a great roll. Any talents for this? I might have a talent for this feeling.
You have sticky fingers?
I do have sticky fingers.
Oh, okay. Then that 8 doesn't work. You're up against a 3. Yeah, sticky fingers giving me a lot of negatives to notice some form of pickpocketing. Which, I mean, it's not in a pocket, but it's, you know.
Pickpocketing is a broad term covering a large amount of sleight of hand thefts.
Yeah.
So I have 4 net hits.
Yeah, you just, like, she absolutely, you know for a fact, she did not notice.
Great. Cool. And then, yeah, and then I'm gonna go out into the hallway.
You got 4?
Yeah, I rolled 4 dice, and I rolled 120, and I rolled 3 7s and a 5.
Just getting the thing you were trying to pickpocket isn't enough for getting 4 net successes.
Isn't that right?
No, I mean you got 4 net successes. I'm just saying,
You're
like,
getting more.
yeah.
Oh,
Like
okay.
you got the thing, but like 2 successes would have gotten you the thing, and like 3 successes would be like you got the thing with the absolute guarantee that she didn't notice. So I think 4 successes gets you just a little bit more, which is you're scanning the room for valuables. You see this one valuable you can pickpocket. You're distracting her while you reach back and swipe that and stick it in your pocket. But one thing you notice while you're distracting her is like her outfit is very nice. It's not like overtly nice. It's not like, you know, super privileged nice, but it is nice. She's got nice clothes, nice like higher middle class at like the minimum type stuff. But the handkerchief she has is very nice. Almost as if it would be a dress handkerchief, not like one that you would actually like be like, you know, rubbing your nose with. It's too nice of a fabric. And that leads you to notice like she's not actually crying. There's no tears.
Oh, this bitch murdered that guy.
That's great.
Stop saying that. It's not great. Turn the brooch.
And you pocket the brooch.
Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna promise to return.
Thank you, dear.
Of course. And I'm gonna see what's going on out in the hallway.
Yeah. The security guard is trying like the security guard and this janitor or maid or housekeeper seem to be trying to like control the situation. Donna Kane has shown up. She's shown up and it's like as if she hasn't drunk anything at all. She's got like the smallest bit of a sway to her, but like her vision seems clear and she's like sees the body. And she goes, "Well, who all we got down here?" And she sees you and she goes, "You Patience.
Yes.
Come here. Shut the door. Show the lady some respect." And the security guard goes, "Yes." And you see that Donna has at this point, she's holding her Liberty City Marshal badge in her offhand. Sorry, Freedom City Marshal badge in her offhand. I mean, she doesn't have her gun out, but she's just holding it off like as if she like showed it, but she hasn't, you know, pinned it on herself yet. And she goes, Patience. These 2 men are giving me the runaround, jurisdiction and whatnot. Please, as a civilian, what have you witnessed here?"
I was coming out of my room, and I heard a scream, and I came down here, and I saw that man lying on the floor dead because that man was holding the door open and that man was trying to shut it. And then there was a woman, the one who is in here, who was very upset and had screamed because she saw, presumably, that man.
As she's listening to you, she pins her badge on her jacket, and she goes, All right. And at this point, 2 other security guards have shown up, presumably from the poker room. And she goes, all right, gentlemen, I need you to secure this floor, make sure there's no other passengers that leave this floor. I am taking control of this situation under the law of the Sheriff's Office of Freedom City and my position as a marshal for such a sheriff's office. And if any of you wants to question my authority, well, you're going to have to send an LRC when we get to Wilburton. Unless you think, and she pushes her jacket back and she goes, unless you think you have more control here than I do right now. And she looks at all 3 of them and they like kind of itch a little bit at it, like as she's maybe laid down some form of a challenge. And then they're all like, yes, ma'am. And they seem to defer to the one guard who shut the door, who was like here already. And he goes, yes, ma'am. You heard her. Secure the floor. Make sure there's no other passengers. If it's all the same to you, Marshal, I would like to get the owner of this ship down here to oversee the situation. And she goes, well, go on and get the damn man then. And he walks off. And she turns to you. She goes, "I'm sorry, Patience. Are you staying on this floor?"
My room is just down there.
Well, if you would be so kind as to wait here, while I have a conversation with the owner of the boat, while I try to get my head around what the damn hell happened here. I need you to not leave this hallway. You understand?
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm Donna Kane. We met the other day. I don't know if you remember.
I do remember. Yes.
All right, excellent. I know. I can be. Thank you. And she goes, if a fella comes here with a fancy dress and a cigar, asking about the marshal, you can send him into this room. I'm gonna go in here and look around.
Do you want help?
Buddy
cop. I didn't want you to see. It looked a little gruesome in there. I don't know if you got a look in there. I don't know what your sensibilities are. I didn't want to put you in such a position.
I've seen dead people before.
You can roll blend to try to seem to kind of like continue on. She seems to have a perception of you as a trustworthy person, based on her drunken memories of hanging out with you on the top deck.
When I pickpocketed her.
You didn't pickpocket her. She asked you to reach in and grab her.
You investigated her.
Yeah.
You just also felt that she had a marshal badge at that time. You are up against an 8.
Okay. I have 2 hits.
Okay, you have 2 net successes. So she goes, well, I suppose another set of eyes would be helpful. And she the sway comes back just a little bit. She goes, I have been at the saloon in the casino for a short period of time. Nothing to inhibit my judgment of a scene or a situation, but perhaps a fresher pair of eyes would be useful in this situation. If I don't mean to impose.
No. I'd like to help.
All right, then. We'll leave the door ajar for the man who comes down here to see what's what. And meanwhile, we'll investigate the body in the room and see if there's anything that seems amiss. I appreciate your help, Patience. You seem like a good person.
You do too.
She doesn't seem to know what to say about that. She just goes, well,
should we look in the...
In we go, I guess.
Okay.
Try not to get too much blood on you. and she opens the door, and there's Salvador sprawled out on the bed, throat cut. The bed is soaked with his blood. It doesn't look like there was much of a struggle. It looks like he was killed in his sleep. If you want to, I guess you and Donna Kane can teamwork test an observed test.
I'll help her because she's probably much better at observing than I am.
Maybe you can get rid of the negative she has from drinking a lot of alcohol.
Being drunk. Hey, that's not bad. I got 2 hits, 7 high.
Okay. Sweet. Okay, so you guys start looking around. Meanwhile, up in the poker room, Kinsey, you see a security guard, not one of the 2 that left, but a different security guard, coming towards you. He kind of gives you an eye as he walks by you towards the into the poker room. I don't know if you like stop him or say anything as he does.
I suppose I'll stop him. I'm trying to give Roland a bit of time alone with our new gentleman friend. So I suppose I'll try and stop him at the door and say,
"Oh, sure.
Excuse me, can I help you?"
Can you help me? Yeah, there will have been a little bit of time where Roland and Francis are alone in that room. There's still 2 security guards down at the other end. And there's a moment like after everyone leaves and Kinsey posts up, Francis is like, Frank, to the bartender, maybe you go ahead and turn in for the night. We can make do for ourselves for the rest of the night. Maybe it's better for you to go back to your quarters. Thank you, Mr. Calderon. I'll take you up on that. And Frank leaves. So it's just you and Francis, and he kind of glances towards Kinsey. He goes, "Your man's quick to be of use, it looks like."
Yeah, he's quite the capable sort. So listen, you and I think we understand each other reasonably well. I'm not in insurance.
No.
He sits there. He like is mid sip, doesn't like hesitate, finishes his drink, sets it down, and goes, "You don't say."
I know. Shocking it must be. You know, Kinsey, for all his many skills, is occasionally a bit quick on the trigger, if you know what I mean. And you mentioned being unhappy with our predicament, and you know, I can't really give you all the details. That much I am being honest about, and it's, believe me, it's not because I don't like or trust you. It's really just I just can't. We are somewhat involved with Mr. Olson, and if you've got a way out of that involvement, I'm interested to hear your proposal.
Well, without more details, it ain't like I got just a way to spirit you away. I mean, I got money, I got resources, but ain't nothing for free.
I'm not... I suppose I'm putting you in a rather difficult position. I'm sort of asking you to give up a bit of your position on faith, really. I don't need you to spirit us away. I don't need you to buy us out of anything. We are involved in a business deal that does require Mr. Alston, and he has made every step of the way much more difficult and unpleasant than it needs to be. And I suspect, I hate to say it, I suspect he does not have my best interests at heart.
From what I understand, there's very few people Salvador looks after more than himself. That commotion down a deck or up a deck, that wouldn't happen to be part of your business with Alston, would it? Because that, my good friend, he takes a big puff of his cigar, would put us at odds. I do not like drama on my boat.
Honest to God, I swore no schemes while I was on this riverboat.
Yeah, go ahead and roll a manipulate test. You are up against a 9.
I've got a 10.
Just one net success.
Just
then?
the one.
He sits back and goes, well, I don't know what you want me to tell you, Roland. I don't like that the family uses my boat for business, but I ain't one to stand up to the family. Especially not the Gatti family, whom I have to pay taxes, extra taxes to, just to own this boat.
Well, I'm not, I'm really not asking you to do anything that puts yourself or this boat. This boat is excellent, by the way. Just a truly wonderful boat. I don't want you to put it at risk at all. I think you've got a pretty good read on me, and I can do a lot with very little. But the more I know about where I stand, the more I can do with less.
Well, like I said, I do like you. I like a man who can surprise me sitting across the table. You didn't take you too long to find a chink in my armor, and I believe that a man like that has plenty of uses for really anyone who's looking for any amount of work. Now, between you and Mr. McCharlotte there in the hall, I feel like you're the beginnings of a very strong team. I don't have any work that I need done currently, per se. But should you find yourself in a situation where all you need is some cash and some influence to get you over or get you through the gate or get you into an area where you're feeling a little more comfortable, well, I can make that happen, but you'll have to owe me.
I'm comfortable with that arrangement.
All right. Then the palm is open, as it were. And you can reach out and take just as much as you're willing to pay back in service.
That sounds great. Now, that was like somebody just like tripped and hit the head or something, right? That's
At that moment, the guard's like, "Can you help me? I don't have time for this. I need to talk to Mr. Calderon." And he moves past you into the poker room.
Excuse me. Pardon me.
Mr. Calderon, I'm sorry, is he with you? And Francis leans back, looks at Roland, looks at Kinsey, looks at the guard, and goes, "He most certainly is." And then the guard like kind of stops a little like sheepishly and goes, "My apologies, sir."
I suppose it's quite all right this time.
And then he turns back to Francis and goes, "Sir, he kind of looks at Roland and Kinsey again, then looks back at Francis. He goes, Colin, please do spit it out. We are amongst friends." And Colin goes, "There's been a murder. Mr. Alston has, he's been killed, sir." Francis sits there for a second, blinks a couple times.
I'm sorry. What did you say? Can you repeat that?
I'm sorry. Salvador Alston. He's He's in one of the rooms down or up there. He was killed. Looks like possibly in his sleep. And there's a marshal there, Mr. Calderon, and she's requested your presence at the scene. And Francis goes, Donna Kane. She has been to this boat a few times. Did you have the audacity to imply that Donna Kane did not have jurisdiction in these parts? Sir, she was not receptive to such talk. And Francis smiles and he goes, I could have spared you the trouble, Colin, if you just had come to talk to me. Mr. McCharlotte, Roland, seems that I need to conduct some business on my boat. Seems like our festivities have come to an end. I suggest you retire to your quarters while I investigate this murder of this mysterious Mr. Alston, he says pointedly at Roland.
I can't believe it. His room was so close to ours, Kinsey. That could have been us.
Francis rubs his head for a second, and he goes, Mr. Colin, if you would go secure the hallway ahead of me, I'll be right behind you. You two, go and check on the other quarters. Make sure no one is having too much of a hysterical fit on account of the screams in the other quarters. I need to have a quick word with my new friends here alone. And the guards kind of step out. Colin seeming a little hesitant. Mr. Calderon, just like one quick look, Francis looks at him, and then Colin goes, yes, sir. Walks out. And Francis goes, shut the door, Mr. McCharlotte, if you would.
No, of course. And he does so.
Roland, Kinsey, I need to know right now. Did you plot a murder on my boat?
I told you, I swore. No schemes.
He did. I was there. Eyewitness.
Listen,
Sits there.
think about it. In what world does it make any sense to plot the murder of a man I've just indebted myself to you to escape the clutches of? And then have it occur while I am still negotiating said escape from clutches and indebtment.
I have been a part of too many grifts to assume that a man in my position can see the whole picture from my vantage. So, you'll excuse me for not having the faith to just assume.
Well, I understand. Trust but verify.
Mr. Kinsey, you
Yes,
notice
sir.
anything out in that hall that seems suspicious?
Well, other than your rude head of security, I would say not.
Colin, he ain't head of security. He's actually a relative newcomer. Lowest on the totem pole.
Well, that would make sense then.
Indeed. Well, can't expect everyone to know that I've just made random close bosom friends with two relative new strangers to the boat. But alas, duty calls. You said y'all was staying
Yeah,
on
actually,
the
I was sort of trying to provide groundwork for my shock at Mr. Alston's death to you. Now I know, not head of security. But yeah, no, we were staying quite close to him.
Well, I suppose the two of you should retire to your quarters. You may need to speak to good old Donna Kane as she investigates this murder.
That makes sense. Yeah, Kinsey, I guess
We're all walking
we're
together,
going the
friend.
same way.
Yeah.
It'd be weird. We could wait, or you could wait, or...
Let's just walk together. It's just fine. Meanwhile, in the room with the corpse of Salvador Alston, Pax, you're looking around. So is Donna Kane. One thing you're able to kind of figure out really quickly, like no struggle, definitely killed in bed, throat slit cleanly. The only sign of a struggle you see is it seems like as he was bleeding out, he managed to like pull a hatchet out from like under his side pillow. He's got it in his hand, and like that pillow is kind of thrown over, like maybe he took a swing, but there's like no blood on the hatchet that you can see, so it doesn't look like he hit anything with the swing, and then he like seemed to bleed out, but his like fist is still clutched on the hatchet, and Donna looks around and goes, "God damn! All right, well." Don't look like there was any sort of a fight, so whoever got in, but hey, strange. That door still latch?
I'll check.
And like you're able to check, and it's the door is fine, and there's no sign of like it being picked or anything like that. You can actually, with your skills in lockpicking and your assistance of Donna Kane, you're able to kind of convey that to her that like it doesn't seem like the lock's been tampered with at all. And she nods that and goes, "Strange. So either this man was
Or woman.
no, this man here was lax with his security, which the kind of people I've met who are likely to get their throats cut at night without, and she looks around, any thievery. They don't tend to leave their doors just unlocked. That don't make no sense to you, does it, Patience?
No.
Don't make no sense to me either. This here's some kind of revenge killing or something. They didn't take nothing, and they had a way in that weren't kicking the door through or picking a lock. Interesting. And she like rummages around a little bit. She reaches in his pocket, and she goes, and pulls out her hand and like looks in it, and then goes, well, this is strange. And she sets down 2 spurs on the bedside table, and they look like they've been painted red. Not like with blood, just like with paint. And she goes, well, I can't say I've seen anything like that before in my life. Who goes to sleep with a couple? Is this a religious thing? I don't know. Strange to go to bed with a couple spurs in your pocket, let alone a couple painted red, right?
Yep.
All right. So, work with me here, Pax. Man comes in, not Pax. Work with me here, Patience. Man or woman comes in, has a way in that ain't picking a lock or kicking in the door, slits this here man's throat, leaves a couple spurs in his pocket, unless this is him doing that, but I ain't never heard of no one sleeping with no good luck charm or nothing like that.
Could it be
No idea is a bad idea. Patience, just spit it out.
like sending a message?
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Are there any windows in this room?
No.
There are no windows? Okay.
Not on this one.
Is there an adjoining door or like closet to the wall to the woman who's super suspicious to me now?
No, there's no connecting wall. They're actually on opposite sides of a hallway.
Oh.
And like you and Donna are able to kind of verify like nothing is amiss throughout the rest of the room. Except the fact that like there's another hatchet in with his other stuff. She goes, "Damn, this man likes an axe."
It's a little terrifying.
He's a big fella for sure. Like if I was gonna kill a man like him who seems to have an axe fetish of some kind, I'd probably be tempted to sneak in the middle of the night as well. At least we know that the killer is clever.
Maybe they talked their way in.
What? Sang him a lullaby, put him into bed?
Maybe they promised more than that?
Other side of the bed's still tucked in. They must have done a real good job of turning that down.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't think they were here for the night. I don't think they was company.
They could have stolen keys.
That's fair. And then at that point, the door, like Elisa, like tap 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 tap. When you guys get down to the hallway with Francis, he says, "Of course, I'll be dealing with whatever's happened over there. You can retire to your chambers. Thank you for the good chat and the fun game of poker. Enjoy your stay on the Merriweather."
Thanks very much. Good luck with your whatever's going on down there. Hopefully there's not too much of a mess.
And he
Surprise there is.
he nods to you, and then goes walking down, and then tap 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 on the door, creaks it open. He goes, "Marshal Kane," and she goes, "Calderon, there's been a murder in your boat." And he goes, "Yes, I can see." "Wasn't you, was it?" And she goes, "Of course it wasn't me, you damn..." "Someone here broke in. You got to check your guards' keys for one. Round up all your guards and see if any of them's missing their keys, cause someone done come in here. They didn't pick the lock. They didn't kick down the door. They slit this man's throat in his bed. And Salvador and Francis, if I am not mistaken, that man there is Salvador Olster." And Francis goes, "Well, I'll be damned. It is Salvador Alston now, ain't it?" And leans over and goes, "Who's your friend?" "This here is Patience, and I've deputized her in this investigation." No. I said
Just
something.
a sec.
I said something that made Siri think I said Siri. Okay, that's back to normal. Okay. "And I've deputized her in this investigation. She helped me piece together what happened here." And Francis raises up his hands and goes, "Well, pleasure to make your acquaintance, Patience. I'm Francis Calderon. This here is my boat."
It's a very nice boat.
He shakes your hand, and he goes, "Marshal, I will go ahead and round up my my men and women with the keys. And here, Sakim," he says, and the janitor comes out of the hall. He goes, "Yes, Mr. Calderon. Do me a favor, round up everyone. Make sure all the keys are accounted for. Someone got into this here room, and we want to eliminate any of our people." And he nods and goes, "Right away, Mr. Calderon." and he goes off. And he goes, anything else, Marshal? Or Deputy?
Oh, no, no, yes, no, no, maybe. And I'll look over to
Both Marshal Kane and Francis Calderon are looking at you with very similar expressions, like, like,
I had a question. Do you know about the woman across the hall? Do you know about her?
well, if I were to rack my brain and think back to the manifest of this ship and who was staying in what. Oh my god, he said the name of the game. Who was who was staying in what? Well, if I'm not mistaken, that room over there is rented to an Emmeline Yang, businesswoman, a woman based out of Freedom City, does business throughout the garden. Decorations, in fact. I have bought a piece or two for the poker room from her.
Okay.
Why do you ask?
So there was, when I was younger, I had a friend, and they would take a thing and then use it and then put it back, so that if them using it, if they got caught, or that thing had been used, it wouldn't be them that was caught. So, like like my mom's like makeup or something, right? My friend would take it and then put it like in my room, so that I would get in trouble. And she was here, and she saw, and there was like commotion, and she's the one who screamed. And um, if the keys are all accounted for, it doesn't necessarily mean that that it's your people.
Donna is like listening, goes, so she was the one who saw the body first?
She's the one who screamed. I don't know if
then I
gentleman
suppose
with the
if it's all the same to you, I don't really get what you was getting at with the makeup and the whatnot. but I'm gonna go ask her a few questions, kind of get what she knows leading up to finding the body. I'll be back. And deputy, she says, like with like an air of like, yeah, deputy, patience. If you have any, she can act in my stead, Mr. Calderon. She has my carries my proxy. She points to you like, yeah. And then she goes, all right. And she like pats you on the shoulder and leans in. And she goes, don't do nothing too crazy. Just come talk to me with whatever you find out.
Okay.
Pats you on the shoulder and goes, proxy! And like walks out. Knocks on the door and she goes, takes off like her hat and goes, Miss Yang, is it? I'd like to come in and ask you a few questions, if you're feeling up to it. Yes, of course. This is all so terrible. And then the door shuts.
Tommy, take a grit for action or role play.
Oh, thank you. And now Francis is kind of standing there awkwardly with you, Pax. Any further questions or, I suppose, orders? Since it seems like the law has commandeered my ship for the time being.
Oh,
might I suggest we talk to the other passengers on this this here floor while we wait for the keys to be accounted for?
Yes.
All right.
We should probably lock this room, though, if we're leaving it. Can you do that? Do you have the keys?
I do not.
Okay. Well, they're bringing all the keys, so we'll just keep an eye until they bring all the
Guards
keys.
are right outside. They'll make sure no one comes in. And he moves his cigar over to his left hand, and he reaches out like an elbow to you.
Aw.
And I'll take it.
And as you guys are like walking out into the hallway, he goes, Deputy Patience, is this your first time investigating a crime?
Yeah.
Is that
I don't know if it's a lie. I was trying to think of if we'd done it before, but I don't think we have. So, yes.
Well, I apologize for the marshals thrusting you into this position, but I believe between the two of us, we can help the marshal along and make sure we figure out exactly what happened. I will assure you, I am not a fan of any death, let alone deaths on my boat. So let's go on down here to these rooms and check on the other patrons and see if any of them noticed anything out of the ordinary. Let's start with, and he goes over to Roland and Kinsey, like your guys' room. And
I do want to say, as we, left Francis and we walked back to the room, I did say to Kinsey, probably as we were going into the room and the door closed, I promised I wouldn't do any schemes, and I'm going to stick to that, but you have no idea how much fun and it would be and how much I have always wanted to pretend to be, like a private detective and sort of like, a contained area murder investigation. There's a bunch of really good books about it. It just seems like a lot of fun. Had like a whole character that's just sort of prepared, ready to go in the chamber. And now I'll never get to use it.
Would it help you if you told me your character's name?
No, it's got to come out organically, Kinsey.
Sure, that's fair. I understand. Well, hopefully, you'll get to investigate another crime in the future.
Yeah, you know what? We'll get on a train sometime, and someone will get killed there.
I'm sure.
It'll be great.
I'll kill someone if you need to. No, I'm not killing one. I'm just kidding.
Tap, 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 tap on the door.
Yes, hello.
You open up the door, and Francis Calderon is there, arm in arm with Pax. And he says, Gentlemen, this here is Deputy Patience, newly deputied by Marshal Kane down the way. Patience, these two fine folk are Roland and Kinsey.
Hi.
We made friends over a nice game of cards and quite a few drinks. And he unhooks his arm from yours, and he goes, if it's all the same to you, Roland and Kinsey, deputy, may we talk inside your... He kind of glances over and he goes, quarters?
Sure, that makes sense.
By all means.
He walks in and it's a
if
little
that's all right with you, deputy.
Whatever puts you at ease.
And he walks in. It's a little cramped with the four of you. And as the door shuts, he goes, "Huh. I haven't spent much time in these rooms, and I feel like I need to apologize."
I was lying when I said our accommodations were wonderful.
Well, I'll see what I can do about that. I'm going to put this out. There is not much ventilation in here.
Please sit on my cot. I'll stand. That's all I'm
He puts his fingers together, dips his head, and goes, Roland and Kinsey. I may have lied a little bit.
Oh.
I have a bit more of an inkling about what goes on my boat than I let on originally.
You don't.
Ain't a moment that we leave shore where I don't review the manifest to make sure there ain't no one on board that I'm not comfortable with. And I do now recall that this room was booked for 3.
You seemed like you were on a roll. I didn't want to.
2
Listen,
nights.
I know how good it can be to deliver a grand reveal. I won't interrupt you. Finish.
I hate to break it to you, Roland. You already did.
I
2
know.
male names, 1 female name, and now there is a man murdered just down from this room, down the hall from this room, and Donna Kane has been, made a new friend, conveniently, of Patience here. Now, I don't mean to imply anything untoward. I do believe I got a good read of the 2 of you. Less astute man might think something is amiss here. Some scheme of sorts.
I'll turn to Roland and I say, I thought you talked to him. I left you so you could talk to him. I waited until Donna Kane was gone so you could talk. Did you not talk to him about...
No, Kinsey, this is... We all understand each other here. This is how people like me talk to each other.
Oh, yes. I have been confused by you a time or 2.
I can respect the notion of leaving a card unturned, but if we're going to be friends, Roland, I need to know I can trust you. Patience, is it?
Yes.
You mind telling me your relationship to Mr. Hollis and Mr. McCharlotte here?
I believe that we are passengers together on this ship.
Roland? She your friend? She in the insurance business?
She is as much in the insurance business as I am.
All right. Patience. Is that your real name?
Yes.
All right. If we're to continue here, I need to know one very important thing. Did you do a murder on my boat?
If I did, if I had, you wouldn't have found it until I was well and far away.
I'm dealing with a professional then. Patience, I feel like you've been caught, presumably unawares. Roland and Kinsey and I, we have become bosom friends.
Mm-hmm.
And Roland, I've made it clear to him that should you need any support in whatever it is you find yourself in with the likes of Salvador Alston, rest in peace or whatever, a man like me could be of assistance if you're willing to pay me back in service or otherwise. So, we're all... I'm sorry, did I say something funny?
Oh my goodness. Roland.
I swear, no schemes. It is much to my shock as well that this seems to keep happening.
Layers upon layers upon layers of this keeps happening. We don't need to be indebted to another person.
Well, don't lump me in with the
This
likes of
person?
Salvador Alston and the family.
We were You know, sorry. This is a lovely boat.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I don't know you. Here's the thing, Roland. An escape plan? You didn't even talk to me about it? Kinsey, you went along with this?
To be fair, until Alston was murdered, it was more of like the beginnings of building a road towards an escape plan, and I was going to loop you in at the earliest possible convenience. And then it sort of became the earliest possible convenience now.
I couldn't leave his side. I mean, going to get you, I mean, that could have aroused any sort of suspicion from any of the many people who do
If we
not...
might
They were
just
telling
just
the
for
truth.
a minute, hold on, wait,
Did you
just
tell
a minute.
him the whole
Just a whole.
truth?
Can we? Everyone should stop talking. Francis,
Yes.
I would be just so greatly in your debt if I could have the room with my associates for a moment.
I think
Just me, not them. Me in your debt, not them. I will literally owe you one, a real one, if I could have 10 minutes to just talk to my friends alone.
While no, he goes, well, it is incredibly generous. I may have offered to let you have the room regardless, but you know me. I don't leave chips on the table if I can take them. So, yes, you owe me one. I'll go talk to the fine gentleman across the hall.
just wait in the hall for me, won't you? Seeing as I have her proxy?
As you wish, deputy, he says, tipping his hat to you, and he steps out.
So, tensions are high. Listen, you, admittedly, 11 days, you know me to be at least competent enough in survival that I told him exactly as much as he needed to know to provide us with a possible way out of, the current predicament we're in. I I look over at Kinsey, which is not very much. He didn't need to know very much.
Miguel is going to kill us. We can't get the guns without Alston.
Well, then I think Miguel is going to kill whoever killed Alston.
Not that we know that by any stretch of the imagination. He could certainly kill us. I think that's a valid point. He doesn't need us anymore. We don't know what orders he's been given by what's his name? The leader of the Dead Man's Gang.
Rufus.
What's his name?
Rufus.
As I said, Rufus Nash. Yes.
Come on, Kinsey.
Well, it's hard to keep track of all the people we've given our
There's a lot of
allegiance
people
to.
in the gang,
There are
I
lots
get
of
it.
people. It's not easy.
Well, we're meeting one of them when we disembark. And if Miguel is dead and Alston is dead, we are in trouble. If only Alston is dead and one of us is alive while the rest of us are dead, the only reason that we're alive is because he'll want Rufus to kill one of us. We are all about to die unless this gets solved.
I guess it's a good thing I made friends with the person who can get us answers on this boat, then.
That is a fair point. Well done. Point, Roland.
Seriously?
I'm only calling him as I see him. I am an impartial referee.
No, you're not.
That's not how conversations work, Kinsey.
Everything is a game if you try hard enough.
Listen, I promise you, I have not operated on this ship without our continued survival at heart.
That is true. He could have left me to the wolves, and he didn't. Granted, I think there was a misunderstanding of sorts, and that something I didn't communicate very well, but he could have left me to the wolves. Very true.
I left for like an hour. What happened?
I played poker for a bit.
And we
And
had
we-
alcohol as well.
I made a friend. I'm a personable guy. I make friends easily. I won't apologize for that.
I didn't ask you to.
Good, I wouldn't.
I agree that we should solve the murder, certainly before we get to the next landing, right? Shouldn't we? I agree on that point. I think as far as trusting Mr. Calderon, I'm not sure that we need to come to a conclusion on that just quite yet. But for the moment, we need him to talk to everybody on the boat to solve the murder. Is that not right?
Why? He's just the owner of the boat.
Right, but he does have access to the staff. I mean, he can get answers from them that perhaps your deputy would not. I'm not.
I'm
Also,
the
by the way,
deputy.
just
I'm
also,
the deputy.
whatever the marshal or whatever. I'm not. I don't care about the laws of the.
Can I just say-
municipality. I mean,
Excellent work.
Thank you.
Tap, 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 tap.
Feels like we should answer it.
I'll go answer it then. May I?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Right, I will. Thank you. We finally agree on something. That's very nice. Love this crew. Hello.
Francis is there. He's lit up another cigar. And he goes, "The keys have returned. Deputy, the marshal calls."
Thank you, gentlemen, for answering my questions.
You're welcome, Deputy. If there's anything else you need, please don't hesitate to ask.
I won't.
And Donna is outside, just a few paces away from Francis. The door slides shut, and she goes, "What about that one?" Pointing towards the room Miguel's in. And Francis goes, "I had a chat with the man, and he's been sleeping this whole time. So nothing to report there." And she goes, "All right, well, according to your man Sakim, all the keys are accounted for. Everyone has them. And also, I happened to find a hook and a rope hanging off the port side of the ship. Maybe our murderer swam aboard and has since left."
Did you find, like, a trail of footprints that were wet from the
Close
boat?
this door. Did we not close this door?
I looked at Kinsey as the door closes. That seems like the first thing you would look for, right? Like footprints from the water.
Sorry, I did not hear anything. If that was directed at me, it kind of glitched out for a second.
Oh, I was just saying, as they closed the door on the two of us, I would turn to Kinsey and say, I mean, you'd look for footprints, right? That's just sort of someone swam up from the river.
I don't think you know very much about tracking, do you, my friend?
So putting two and two together, I have a feeling murderer may no longer be aboard. So with
Was it
your
wet? The
well,
floor where the
yes,
rope was, it was wet?
yes, there's a big old puddle of water right by it.
How did they get in there?
what about your story with the makeup? Or grab. I get it. You grab the keys and then put them back.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's a good solve. Then you've done it.
I went ahead, Mr. Calderon, and instructed your man Sakim to remove the body from the quarters and put it in the cold storage so that it can be given to the Undertaker at Wilburton. Then Francis goes, "That sounds fine by me. All of this mess has been unseemly. I appreciate your assistance thus far, Marshal, with solving this case." He says, giving a glance towards Pax, "in such a quick and concise manner."
Seems like a drink is in order.
Donnie goes, "Well, just doing my duty." And Calderon goes, "Of course, you can have the run of the bar at the casino. For the rest of the trip to Wilburton, you drink free, Marshal, for your service." And she nods at that and starts walking away. Then Francis turns to you, Pax, and goes, "There's one problem with all this. That, them coins I saw on the desk. You happen to find them in, Salvador's pocket?"
She did, yeah.
"Well, I've had the misfortune of having dealings with the family from time to time, and that is a signature message from the Gatti family. They primarily operate out of Alanastead, and well, if you anger them, they'll take your life and leave those 2 coins as a message to any of your associates to let you know that you ain't no friend of the family no more. Kind of an excommunicado situation."
I'm just gonna reach across the hall and open the door to Kinsey and Roland.
Excommunicated, you say?
Yes.
Wow.
If I were to venture a guess, I'd say Salvador may have run afoul of the Gatti family, paid the price. And depending on your level of association with the gentleman, you may be in danger as well.
Didn't you say the Alstons were loyal to the Kowalski family, or did I misunderstand?
Yeah, I don't know the exact arrangement, but Alston, while vouched for by the Kowalski family, does do a little bit of business in Gatti territory.
Well,
It's not unknown for the family to rub each other's shoulders from time to time.
could this be the beginning of a family war, then, of sorts, between the two?
Well, seems unlikely. It either is or it ain't. There's no in between here because Gatti, putting those coins in his pocket, they claimed the kill. So the Kowalskis would know. Now, I don't know the exact weather between those 2 particular families. But more like, unless they're looking to start a war, Gatti probably got permission.
Could I
It ain't like the family to start a war, especially not with someone as low caliber as Salvador Alston. Rest in whatever.
Would you mind? Could I have a spur?
For
I just don't have any right now. I can pay you. Thank you. I'm gonna go buy a tall glass, like a highball glass of vodka,
Okay.
and I'm gonna bring it to.
Well, first you go up to the casino bar to get a highball glass of vodka. Donna's behind the bar.
Nice.
There's no bartender.
Oh yeah, I forgot about. I didn't know about that, so that's why.
And she's taking a swig from the bottle, and you come in, and she goes, "Deputy, though I suppose it's more appropriate to say patience now. The deputizing was temporary for the duration of the case, of course."
Of course. Thank you. It was an honor.
Oh, well, it was more of a way to stick it to those fellas that was trying to pull weight over me. No offense or nothing. You done great.
Thank you.
But it seems I have the run of the bar, and what can I get you, miss? You drink for free until Calderon says otherwise.
Could I have a highball glass of vodka?
Absolutely. I know how to make that one.
Yeah.
Sets down a glass and just pours straight vodka in it.
Amazing.
And she sets it down, and as you go to grab the glass, she kind of like just sobers up a little bit as you go for it. She goes, "What was that you said about the water by the hook and the rope?"
If there were wet footprints by the.
You didn't. I don't recall you saying footprints. Just if there was water, and I said yes, but now I come here and I start to think on it a little bit. There was only a puddle. Almost as if someone just kind of put some water there. I didn't see no trail or nothing. It just kind of was there. But hey, what do I know? I mean, they could have dried off their feet before they went aboard, right? I mean, all the keys was accounted for, and it wouldn't be kind of crazy for someone to give up a cushy gig like this.
Yeah.
So, as my good friend Pax has gone off to talk to the marshal, you know what, Kinsey? Maybe I don't know anything about tracking someone down, but I think you're wrong, okay? And I'm not going to let it go. I want to go see this. I want to go see this hook in this puddle, in this water. Because it's weird. If you got out of the river and you walked onto a boat, you would leave a trail. I don't understand it. And now I can think of nothing else. We're going to the puddle.
Well, I suppose we should. You will need me around, I assume.
So two you go walking off, and Francis is like, "Well, I suppose I'm coming along as well."
Francis, have you got one of those excellent cigars? I do prefer a pipe. There's just something about the ones that you gave me.
They are top quality. You can only get these in Markham's Landing. But he slides out one. He goes, "I don't give these away for free often. So next one will cost you."
Understood. Well, thank you very much for this one. I'm not so willing to give away my favors as some people.
I feel like I got what I needed out of it.
That's fair.
So you walk to the hook, and much like Donna Kane is remembering now, it's just a puddle of water right by the hook.
Sure.
Okay, but see, like, this doesn't even go over the edge, even. Like, right? Because if you climbed over, the water would come all the way up over the railing with you. It's not how
Yes. Well, obviously they grabbed a towel and sort of dried it off a little bit and forgot to dry off the puddle on the ground. Where's the towel?
Okay, so you're positing a murderer who coordinated themselves to swim through sandcrawler-infested waters, climb onto a riverboat in motion, got onto said boat, toweled themselves off, said, "Nah, I don't need to cover up this bit of water. This bit of water is fine." And they went, did a murder, came back, put on their wetsuit again, saw the puddle a second time, and said, "I don't need to cover that at all," and then jumped back in the river.
You make a fair amount of sense, I must say.
I would have to say that seems like a bit of a far-fetched way to do a murder.
It is far-fetched. I'm not going that far to fetch it. God damn it.
So Pax, Donnie goes, "But hey, the job's done, right? It ain't even my jurisdiction, like they said. So how bad would it be for me to take the win and celebrate here? I ain't overlooking nothing, yeah."
If you feel good about it, that's what's important.
Why wouldn't I feel good about it? I feel great. I have run to the bar for my hard work, off duty, I might add, no pay. So I'll take my pay out of here. You know, my salary would buy quite a few drinks if I were to solve a murder up in Freedom City. So I solved a murder here, and I think free drinks for the rest of my time on this boat, as long as it will be. And it seems like just payment from Mr. Calderon, and I feel great about it.
Good. You should. Yeah.
Well, I do, and I don't need you making me second guessing the ways I done come to my conclusion.
Yeah, I'm so sorry about that. I shouldn't have.
All right. Apology accepted. Here's your vodka.
Thanks. Cheers.
Cheers. And she takes a drink.
Great.
But not with as much fervor as she has before. Just like a kind of a little sip and sets it down.
I'm gonna take my nightcap to bed.
All right, then.
Okay. But I'll see you in the morning.
Mayhaps you will.
Okay. I'm gonna go downstairs, and I'm gonna knock on Miss Yang's door.
Okay.
Seeing my friends all gone when I was gonna tell them the story about what I think, but they're not there.
You knock on Miss Yang's door. There's a slight pause. No answer. It's very late at night.
Sure. I'm gonna knock again. Tap.
At this point, Roland, Kinsey, and Francis, are you two continuing to argue around the puddle, or are you returning back indoors?
No, I think I found maybe a tiny bit of a moral center at the middle of Roland, and he's a bit indignant now at how shoddily this murder's been investigated. And I think I've decided to solve it out of spite. So upon seeing the puddle, I was okay. So let's think through this logically, right? Let's put our heads together. The three of us are smart. Why come here if you're trying to cover up a murder? It's probably because it leads everyone else away from where you are. So who's staying furthest from here?
And Francis goes, "Well, I mean, there are other lodgings around the area, but I do have guards that would notice comings and goings that would be considered strange. I would expect at least one of them to have reported that in the case of a murder, they noticed someone who wasn't staying in this hall moving around.
Right, so it's someone on this level, probably all the way at the other end of this hall. So let's go there and see who that is.
So you knock the second time, Pax, and you see down the hall, the door opens up, and Francis and Kinsey and Roland come walking in, and you two see Pax holding a glass of either water or vodka, hard to tell, knocking on a door that is not Salvador's, but is across the hall from Salvador's.
Right, see? Patience knows what's up. Finally, someone putting their head to use on this case.
No answer yet?
The door then slides open. And Emmeline Yang looks at you. She's in her nightgown now, kind of clutching it. And she goes, "Yes?"
I'm sorry it took me so long to get you some water. But I felt so bad. I got pulled away by the marshal, and you were so upset earlier.
Yes, I mean it was in my hysterics I done worn myself out, and I decided I would go to sleep. It is quite late, young miss. And then she kind of looks and sees like Roland and Kinsey and like Francis coming. She goes, I'm sorry. This seems a bit unseemly. I do want my rest. I appreciate the water. Here, I'll take it. And she like reaches out and grabs the glass from you, and she goes, and I appreciate your concern, but I'm going to turn in for the night.
So as she starts to shut the door, I'm just gonna be like, I just like put my hand on it and go, I just want to make sure that you're okay from all the stress of earlier.
And she looks and sees you and Roland and Francis and Kinsey all looking at her, and she goes, yes, some rest is doing me good. I'd like to go back to it.
Is she like uneasy, or is she like a cool?
Yeah, am I there at this point?
Yeah, you're there. Yeah, you guys have walked up.
Cool. I would like to play this player.
Yeah, you can go ahead and roll manipulate. Pax, you can roll discipline. You have a +2 because you already got like a pretty decent read on her. Kinsey, if you'd like, you could roll discipline to get a read on her as well.
No, I thought we were going to the room at the end of the hallway.
That's
Is that this room? Well,
yeah.
I still don't see I don't think that Roland is right, so I'm not going to help him roll manipulate. No.
I have one hit. It's an 11 high.
Okay. You guys are up against a 9.
I have a 9.
Okay. So both of you have 1 net success.
You know what? No. I have no grit and 2 net successes as I twist the knife. Must solve this murder out of spite.
Yeah. She seems to be super uneasy with like what is clearly like a quorum of like investigators at her door. She seems to like she's definitely being false by saying that she's like, yeah, no, it was terrible, but like I'm tired now. Goodbye. Like she's trying to get away from you. You're pretty sure she's lying there. And with 1 net success, Pax, you're able to kind of get the notion like she's more uneasy than someone should be, and she's uneasy not about the murder, right? She's feeling like no, I don't like. Please stop asking me questions. I thought like we were done. She didn't expect you to come back. She was hoping you didn't come back.
I'm so sorry, miss. I know it's a very late hour for us to come by, but thing is, I was an associate of well, I'm sorry, Francis. I can't think of a way around this without telling her the truth. I'm a private detective hired by Mr. Calderon here
Kinsey puts his hand on his
to
cheek.
run security on this ship. He suspected perhaps something was afoot, and thus I was brought on at the last port to keep an eye out, and I'm ashamed to say I missed whatever led to Mr. Alston's murder, but I do swear that I will find who did this, and I have to ask you a few questions before I can move on.
She like kind of shrinks a little bit at that, and she goes, "Can I wait till morning?"
No, witness testimony is notoriously unreliable after the first 12 hours or so, and it only gets worse after they've slept. It's important to strike while the iron's hot in a case like this.
Well, I suppose I can answer a few questions, but I am very tired, sir, and I'd like to keep this brief.
I totally understand. We won't take up much of your time. As this is a joint investigation with the Marshal's office, I assume you're all right with the deputy joining us.
Deputy?
Oh, yes, were you not aware? Marshal Kane deputized Miss Patience here.
She, like, gulps a little bit and goes, all right. Yeah, this is fine. And she kind of looks, and Francis goes, I'll just go and secure the hall here. Leave you to it.
Thank you, Mr. Calderon. I apologize for having to reveal your extra measures.
All right. And so Francis goes walking off, and it's just the three of you with Emmeline.
So, Miss Yang, can you just tell me what exactly you saw and what happened?
Well, I was leaving my room to go and enjoy the casino for a time, and well, it was right as that man, Sakim, I think his name is, the janitor, he opened that door, and well, I saw what was inside, and he tried to hush me up and told me, to calm down, and I don't imagine why he could think I could do such a thing with such a gruesome sight in front of me.
You were going to go play games at the casino?
Yes.
After midnight?
I'm not sure the casino is ours. Are there not games of chance to be played at that time?
How long have you been on the boat?
Well, I've taken this boat quite a few times.
And you don't know the casino's hours?
Well, I only play the games of chance from time to time. I do take this boat down towards sunrise. I'm in a.
What do you decorate?
Well, I decorate all sorts of things. Paintings, pottings, yes.
Do you have any paintings on the ship?
There are some in the cargo hold, yes. I don't understand how this has to do with the murder of the man across the hall.
Are there any paintings in the room across the hall that you furnished to the ship?
Not that I can think of. You'd have to ask Mr. Calderon about such things. He's bought a piece or two for me. I've seen a couple of them in the poker room, but I am not familiar with all of their locations. That would be under the purview of Mr. Calderon after the purchase.
Well, surely a decorator like yourself has some input on where best to hang a piece you sell to a client such as Mr. Calderon.
Wouldn't you pick the place because it's where the artwork would be best suited?
Mr. Calderon seems to believe he has a sight for such things himself
Where do you buy the paintings?
in Freedom City.
From whom?
Various collectors. My client list is confidential for their own purposes.
I mean, you're talking to a deputized marshal here.
Of Freedom City.
Well, if you would like to come to Freedom City and see my books, I'd be more than happy to show them to you. I don't have
No,
a client
we will-
list here in my room with me. What does this have to do with the
Where are you
murder across my
traveling?
hall? Traveling to Sunrise to sell my wares.
Do you have an appointment?
I
Who are you
do.
meeting?
The general store owner down there.
What's his name?
I'm sorry, am I a suspect here? What is the point of all these questions?
We're just trying
So
to get a
you
clear
don't know the
picture.
name?
No, I know the name. It is the Sunrise General Store.
What are they buying?
They're buying a painting and a couple pots.
What's the prearrangement? How much are you expecting to gain?
My client list is confidential.
But you just told me it was the general store owner.
Right, and if you'd like to talk to him once we get to
I don't.
Sunrise,
I want to talk to you.
This is unreasonable. These
Have you ever
questions.
been to Glenspire?
From time to time, yes.
Do you do painting yourself?
No, I just facilitate deals between collectors.
Is your
and
favorite
other
color red?
No, ma'am.
Was she lying?
You can roll discipline to try to get a read on her when you say
No,
that.
I can't beat her. That's the best roll I've ever rolled for discipline. It's only a 5.
Okay. It doesn't seem like that question generally just like perplexed her. It doesn't seem like she like that was like a nail in the coffin thing. You kind of get the impression that like she doesn't quite know where you're going with that line of questioning.
Well, Deputy, I think it's clear. It's clear Miss Yang here is certainly not in the crosshairs from the Gati family. After your thorough investigation, she has nothing to worry about.
I just have one other question. Can you identify this brooch?
Yeah, she looks at it and goes, well, that... She looks back towards her nightstand.
It was found in the bedroom across the hall.
Excuse me? That is false. That cannot be true. I take that off every night when I turn in for the evening.
Every night when you turn in for the evening?
Yes, and it was there by my nightstand last I saw it.
Well, if it was there by your nightstand when you turned in for the evening,
why were you
heading to the casino?
So she's like, I took it off after I saw the murder.
But that's not what you said.
Well, I don't know how it got into the room. Maybe the killer made it into my room. I don't know what you're getting at. And then you guys hear a gunshot. Up a ways.
Kinsey, go fetch.
God damn it. Well, you two stay here. I'll go investigate.
I didn't mean
Good work. Really good to watch as I head off.
And yeah, so you go running off, Kinsey. Those of you who are with Emily, she goes, I just can't, and she shuts the door.
We really should get into that room, but can I just say, That made no schemes on this riverboat completely worth it.
Kinsey, you rush up to the sound of the gunshot, and you run up into the hallway. Francis is just a little bit ahead of you. You're faster than him, so you catch up with him. And he's like, I cannot believe I said I hate drama on my ship. And you get up and turn a corner, and there is Donna Kane standing with a smoking gun over the body of the security guard referred to as Colin, the one who went past you to get Francis.
Marshal Kane?
And she turns and she goes, This man here did the murder.
This man did the murder, you say?
That he did. And she holsters the rifle and she goes, I got to thinking, I'm sorry, Mr. Calderon? And he goes, Proxy. Turns back to address you, Kinsey, and goes, my deputy had a fine notion, which was the puddle by the hook, and the lack of a trail from whence. And well, I couldn't get it out of my head, and so I thought I would talk to the guard in charge of watching that area. Well, I had talked to some of the guards and the janitor, and I knew that Mr. Miller here was the guard who was supposed to be watching that area. So, I come to question him, and he was treating a wound on his arm that I took to possibly be from the head of an axe. Now, you weren't at the scene of the crime, but I assure you there was a man, he made an attack with the axe. It's a whole, you can confirm it with my deputy. So I start questioning the man, and he starts getting a little antsy. And I don't quite buy his story, but I play along. And then I got a little too comfortable, and I gave him an opportunity to reach for his gun, and he was going to shoot me dead. So I shot him dead.
Does it look as though he was reaching for his gun in the position that he's in?
Yeah, he's got his gun in his hand.
He's got his gun in his hand and he was going to shoot you. Well, perhaps you should talk to your deputy then, because we have another suspect in the murder, apprehended down below decks.
What?
I mean, he's not going anywhere, so you might as well join them.
Mr. Calderon, get Sakim to load this fella up into the cold storage until I can send an LRC to Freedom City.
I'm so sorry about the drama, Mr. Calderon. There's nothing I can do about it.
I am reconsidering any kind of deals with, well, I mean, it weren't you, but damn it!
Come, Marshal, I think there's something you ought to see.
And yeah, the Marshal follows you down to where Pax and Roland are standing outside of Emmeline Yang's room. And the Marshal catches you up, man, like, Colin Miller, he done did the murder, the thing on the arm, and the axe. He must have cleaned off the axe. We didn't think of that. He's clever, like I said.
Did everyone on this boat conspire to kill Salvador Alston? I read that in a book once, and I thought, that's preposterous. That would never happen. And yet... Sorry, no, this woman is incredibly suspicious.
Okay. Well, I mean, we don't have any evidence what to keep her with.
Other than she was the first person to see the body and bring attention to it, I mean...
She could have returned the keys.
And she was very cagey. I mean, they caught her in quite a lie. Very, very clever to watch.
What was the lie?
But she keeps her she only takes her brooch off to go to bed at night.
See, you see?
I don't. So
The
how does that-
timeline doesn't match up between where the brooch was and where she said it was, and she. Okay, let me step back.
I'm
There's
just
a lot of things
gonna
have happened.
get down and
If you could just patience, if you wouldn't mind, while I regale the marshal. So, and I regale the marshal with I walk her through as slow as need be to get her to where
She
we
actually-
came to.
She's pretty sharp to it, right?
I don't think she's dumb, just drunk.
Despite her drunken state, she's able to like. It's almost as if like doing like her police work is like so second nature to her that like her being drunk hinders it very little. It hinders maybe her ability to like communicate, and she's a little bit slower to the uptake. But like when she's on, and so she listens to it and she goes, "All right then, let's go talk to her." And she knocks on the door. Miss Yang, I'd like to talk to you about the murder of Salvador Alston. You may be sad to hear that Colin Miller has recently met his end. Implicated in the murder, you see, and well, he was quite the talkative person before he tried to draw on me, and well, like I said, I need to talk to you now. There's a slight pause, and like the marshal sways a little bit, like kind of like comes down a little bit off her high of like being like on, and then she goes, maybe she just went to sleep. Bang! A bullet shoots through the door, hits the marshal in the shoulder, and she goes, and falls down. And then a couple more shots ring out over the marshal's head as she falls down. What do the three of you do?
Duck for cover.
pick the lock.
Take my pistol and shoot through the door.
Okay. So we'll do the shot first. Kinsey, if you want to roll a shot, it's a blind fire, so it's at a -6.
Perfect. Sorry. Yes. Oof. Sorry, one moment. Yes, that's 3 successes.
Okay. What's your highest?
Highest is 12.
Oh wow! Even with a -6.
Oh, sorry. No, that's what I'm fucking. I thought it was fucking something up. There we are.
I mean, you could spend grit to ignore your negatives, but
Probably, yes. I mean, I will absolutely do that, because that seems probably the smartest thing. Yes. I'm going to spend grit to ignore my negatives, and also, I apologize, play to the gallery.
Okay. So you spend 3 grit to go it strong,
Mhm.
and then it's 2 grit to play to the gallery.
That's right.
And then does that give you some explosions you got to roll, or?
It sure does. So,
Pax, go ahead and roll a skullduggery for me.
Yes, that's 4 successes with a high of 12.
Okay. How many net successes over a 9?
3.
How much damage is that?
That right there, my friend, is light firearm 15. 6 piercing.
Piercing doesn't matter. She is in a nightgown.
I was gonna say it's enough damage to kill someone in a nightgown.
Yeah. Pax, what'd you get on your skullduggery? You are muted.
4 hits using my auto picker.
Cool. So immediately, Roland, you dive to the wall. The marshal like hits the door, hits the wall across, and slides down. Pax drops to her knees, and pulls out her auto picker and starts working on the lock. And in that exact same moment, Kinsey just steps directly in front of the door, whipping out his pistol, burst fire pistol, and just like, do, like 3 clean shots, like in a small spread. And then Pax, with extreme speed, gets the door to click open, slides it open, just in time to see the final little inch that Emmeline Yang falls to the ground dead. 3 shots right in the heart.
I'll flip my pistol and put it away, and I'll say, well, good work, you all. Very good investigation. I think that we wrapped this up nice and clean.
That's not how you solve murders.
I mean,
How I solve murders.
It is on Manifest a lot.
Well, okay, listen, there's putting a crime to bed, and there's solving a murder. And we've done one, but not the other.
So we're getting a little late into the stream time. I think if this was a movie, there'd be like we'd cut to like you guys sitting in the back of an ambulance with like a blanket around you for the resolution of. So what happens next, to kind of fast forward? You guys can stop me at any moment if there's something you want to like do actively. But the next thing that happens is Francis shows up, tired at this time. He's like, "Sure, Sakeem, put her in cold storage." And you guys are able to get Chester Lowry, the doctor, on board to see to Donna Kane. And he's shocked to find out Salvador's dead. Not like he was close to him, just kind of like, oh no, that was my boss. That dude paid me.
Did no one tell him before now? Did anyone question anyone?
Chester wasn't staying on this floor. Word gets around that there was a couple murders, but the marshal and deputies took care of it. Everything's fine. Francis, Donna does insist, after she's patched up, to do a little bit more investigating. And she is able to, she looks through Emmeline Yang's stuff. Like through her cargo, and it is like paintings and pottery and statues and stuff like that. And as she goes to like, she's like investigating, she does find there's like a hidden compartment underneath a few of the crates that is just full of weapons. And bags full of spurs. And so Donna supposes that both Emmeline and Colin may have had ties to the Gatti family. After Francis finally fills her in about the 2 coins. And so, cut to the 3 of you and Francis and Donna Kane all sitting at the bar together the next day. It's the bar on the top deck, which has been closed due to all the like crazy activity, and it's just the 4 of you sitting up there. Francis is behind the bar serving drinks, and he goes, "Well, I do like a good story. I just don't often have to suffer through one before I get it."
As a drifter, the stories are bound to find you eventually, aren't they?
And Donna finishes the swig, sets it down. She goes, she looks at you, Kinsey. She blinks a couple times. And she goes, "You look familiar to me."
Mm.
Feel like I've seen your face before. What did you say your name was? It was Kinsey?
Kinsey McCharlotte, yes.
She sits there for a second, blinks a little bit, looks down, like kind of searching her brain. She goes, "Oh, Mr. McCharlotte, this is a awkward predicament we find ourselves in, having assisted each other in the solving of this murder and whatnot. And you seem to be amongst fine folk for the most part.
I quite like them myself.
But I myself am not one to beat around the bush, as it were, especially with as many drinks as I've had this afternoon. Kinsey, I would bet my last spur that I've seen a wanted poster for you in the Freedom Territory. For rustling livestock.
Well, you know, Kinsey McCharlotte is a very common name.
Hey, Mr. McCharlotte, they had your picture.
Well, it was worth a try.
Oh, hell. And
Kinsey.
She looks at Roland and looks at Pax and goes, Y'all are patients, you two?
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. Listen. If y'all are involved in rustling or crime or whatnot, I'm off duty. And I'm out of my territory. And as far as I can see, I see three people who help bring a murderer to justice without much hesitation, a kind of an alarming lack of hesitation, actually, now that I think about it.
I get antsy on boats.
Look, I ain't gonna do nothing, Mr. McCharlotte. I'm gonna act on what I know. Someone who's had as many drinks as me today could easily mistake a face.
Well, that is mighty kind of you, Marshal, I must say. Your dedication to the law is, it works in my favor, I suppose, and I should be glad for that. And now, I will say, I'm not sure you've gotten enough drinks in your system. Would you be so kind as to have another one with me?
Never say no to something such as that.
That's a very clever philosophy.
And she clinks glasses with your drinks, and she goes, that story I overheard you telling Francis here about the caravan hit by bandits, you was in that. You said you and Roland was in that. And look, all I'm saying is, y'all running from my peers might be in your best interest to get out of the garden as soon as you can, because someone 6 sheets to the wind like myself is able to connect your face to a bounty board. That means there's plenty of bounties out there, and maybe there's hunters or other marshals that won't be as forgiving as me or understanding as me.
Well,
So
I've never...
You want to get away from that thing, I'd say the Badlands is your respite.
I've never been much of a fan of the garden myself. How about the two of you?
I don't know what you're implying, Marshal. I must say I am disheartened by these callous allegations you've made against my friend Patience and myself here, who are still reeling from the shock that our good friend Kinsey McCharlotte is in fact a cattle rustler.
think it was jackalopes.
It was jackalope, yes.
Jackalopes, Kinsey.
Mm.
My God, we shared a room. I don't even. I can't. I have to leave.
Yes, truly I apologize for my lack of honesty with you, my trusted travel mate. I roll my eyes as I say.
Pax, what? It looks like you were about to say something.
I Are you leaving, Roland? Are you walking away?
Yeah, actually, I am leaving and walking away.
What if hypothetically we couldn't run?
You're asking me? That you seem like capable folk.
What if we could tell you about much bigger fish? What if I could tell you I know where Marshall Yen's gonna be?
She, like, her eyes go a little wide. She sobers up, like, in that instance. And she goes, "You're talking. Last I heard, he was presumed dead from the attack on the caravan."
What if I told you he was alive? And what if I told you that I tried to help him escape? And what if I told you the people who have him are looking for a box he had?
Well,
Hypothetically.
In such a situation, I believe I would be all ears. And Francis leans in and he goes, "Me too."
What could potentially some minor crimes by maybe my friend be forgiven? Maybe?
She kind of hangs her head at that and goes, I believe in the letter of the law. I can't speak for them that write it, though.
Would they listen if you maybe said, maybe if I helped you, could you help them?
Patience, I'd love to do something like that, but this vacation ain't really my choice. I don't have a lot of pull. Most folk just see me as what I am. Someone who drinks too much and gets in the way and shoots people instead of taking them in.
What if I told you my name was Pax?
It's a nice name.
And you looked it up. And there was a lot. That bounty was a lot.
I don't follow your meaning.
A marshal who could turn me in and save Marshall Yen and return that box and kill the dead man's gang could be in really good standing to help two criminals who helped her. Right?
I would help bring in the gang return the box and see Marshal Yen return safely. I've met him once, I think, and he was a good man. I can't. The most I can do is put in a word, and I'm not sure how skilled I am at making such a deal. I think the garden might be done for you. And Pax, I don't want to turn you in. I like you. You're good folk, regardless of what you've done in the past. You have a good heart, even if you made mistakes. I'll help, but I ain't gonna make a promise I can't keep. Here, this is my LRC, and she like writes it down and slides it over to you, and she goes, "I'll keep an eye on it. I'll get off this damn boat and sober up for a spell and go from town to town and keep an eye out for messages from y'all. Should you need a hand, I can try to get to you or give a tip or meet you somewhere. If you know where the box is, I can go get it. If you know where Yen is, I can go help. I can go. I'll maybe get some people together."
Okay. Thank you.
You just give me the information, point me in a direction, and I'll do what I can while you hightail it out of here.
Okay.
I don't feel like drinking much now. I think I should probably go rest up, drink some water.
There's Kinsey, have you left? Are you still here?
I'm just watching this whole thing.
Okay.
So is Francis like this.
Kinsey, what if there's a man here on this boat?
Is that the wisest course of action, Pax?
I don't know. Yes? No?
You're the one that's been weary of allegiances, and now you're trying to ally with someone who can put us in jail. So, I mean, if you think that's smart,
I don't know what's smart. I just know that there's good people and bad people, and we're around bad people.
spur of the moment decision, gut feeling, I'd say yes.
There's a man named Miguel on this boat. He is a member of the Dead Man's Gang. You could
Now I do need to sober up. You're telling me Miguel Reyes of the Dead Man's Gang is aboard this ship?
Yes, that's the one with all the guns.
There might be just a little bit more drama. Sorry.
Francis goes, "At this point, who am I to argue?" And Donna goes, "Write down his room number. I'll take it from there."
I do.
Okay. And she stands up, pockets it, nods to the three of you, Kinsey, Pax, and Francis. And then she goes walking off, and Francis goes, "That was spectacular. And that's where we'll end the session.
Oh my god!
I'm so stressed out.
We're trusting so many people. Surely this can't go poorly.
We haven't even fully trusted Kinsey yet. I don't know what.
I know. I was thinking about ending this session with so tell me about this box, please.
I didn't say I knew where the box was, did I?
You did.
I don't remember. Cool. I know where a box is now. I didn't say that Roland knew where the box was, so at least he hasn't betrayed your trust yet.
All right. Wow. So that happened.
Yes.
That's great. Okay. So we went a little late. I don't know if there's anyone in the chat who has any questions they want to shoot our way. I don't have any questions in the Kickstarter exclusive Discord to run through. So it's just a straight up. If there's anyone in the chat who has anything, Addie, I know you can see the chat. Is there anything going on there?
The only question we've got so far is, who did a murder on my boat? ?
That's all
awesome.
Francis wanted to know. Colin, you're telling me Colin did a murder on my boat? Colin?
Probably
All
had
right. All right. I suppose I should vet my employees more thoroughly.
We do have a small thank you for asking. The murder was done by one of those two, I guess. I think it was her, but we'll never know now that she's dead. But I can tell you guys that we just got our official email inviting us to affiliate status. So starting tomorrow, you'll be able to subscribe, and we'll have some really cool stuff going on. So yay for that. And
yay. And thank you to everyone who watched, who's been watching, everyone who's been enjoying this. We literally can't make it to affiliate status without your support. So we super appreciate all of you hanging out and coming along with us for this ride. We're gonna have some sweet announcements coming out for little teasers and things we're gonna be sharing over the next couple weeks for Manifest in general, as we're getting closer and closer towards being able to send the book to the printers and have it delivered. So with that in mind, any of you who are Kickstarter backers, keep an eye on the Discord, keep an eye on the Kickstarter proper. We're gonna be just sharing a couple teasers here and there, some cool stuff that we're gonna have. Yeah, that's all I got on that. Any other questions? Any other announcements, Addie, or is that going to be a wrap for today?
that is us. Thank you so much for watching,
right.
and don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, or notify and subscribe, I guess now. Whatever it is. Yeah, do the
Whatever's up here.
Dance.
Click all the buttons.
Yeah, I'm different, aren't I? I can't be doing what you're doing because
Yeah,
It's
you
really
are,
just
like,
always
right
here left.
it's right.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone, and we will see you next week.
Bye-bye.